Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm German Abel with Inside the News for today, the first Saturday of a new month. We're in November, we're almost to the end of 2023. Yeah, time has flown by so fast. Nevertheless, I'm in the hot seat and we have another program today. We are going to jump into our program and begin our discussions. But before we do that, we must acknowledge the people who make this program possible. TDC, Carib Brewery, and yes, TDC and Carib Brewery, they make this program possible.
People make the world go round. If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us. TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
And welcome back to Inside the News. I'm German Abel in the hot seat again today. It's good to be back with you guys after a little break. Little break getting some work completed. But nevertheless, I'm here. We had another busy news week here in St. Kitts and Nevis, across the region and internationally. Locally, we had the start of the cruise season. We also heard that the Minister of Tourism was hospitalized, did an emergency operation, and is well on her way to recovery. We also saw the arrival of JetBlue, the long-awaited arrival of the competition to the main operators that we have servicing the United States and St. Kitts market. Those were just some of what we saw this week. We saw there was a ceremony yesterday for home loans here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and they talked about the smart loan, smart homes, and all of that. Across the region, there was recently an earthquake in Jamaica. Dominica recently wrapped up its World Creole Music Festival. On the international scene, though, that's a very long discussed topic there, the continued war between Hamas and Israel, which seemingly is there's no end to that. We had that. We saw the trial. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, he is in court. He's been very, very busy at the courthouses in the United States. His children are testifying as well. And yeah, that's some of the major news that we saw across the week. So the phone lines are open. You guys can share any topic of interest. But again, when I'm in the hot seat, we want to go beyond just the political discussions. You know, how is the topic, the issues impacting you, the ordinary man and woman on the streets? What are your recommendations and ideas in order for us to move past these issues that we're facing here in St. Kitts and Nevis? The phone lines are 4660989, 7620989, and 6620989. Yes. So we had a busy news week. What's your major topic of discussion that you want us to dive a bit deeper into this morning as we, continue here on Inside the News? Like I said, the year has been flying very, very fast. It's almost Christmas. I know somebody upstairs in the newsroom does not want to hear that. It's almost Christmas, but it's that time of the year where we start to discuss the Christmas cleaning, the carnival period, what we're going to be doing, and some people are actually going to be considering their New Year's resolution well in advance. So yes, but in the meanwhile, the news cycle never stops. The issues are always there on the front burner for the people. So as we await your calls, we'll take a quick look at what some concerns within the farming community and some calls being made by farmers. And I think this is an interesting piece from one of the farmers as they highlight some of the issues that they're facing and what they think needs to be done in order to better the sector. I know that the minister and those people within the agriculture sector are pushing and trying their best in order to advance the sector. But I believe this is an interesting topic of discussion that the farmers raised here earlier this week on the morning show, Island Tea.
I want to show the explicit nature of when we are writing for the hotel industry and the tourism industry, and when we are writing for local businesses, whether it be farming, store on 4th Street, the mindset of what we call our middle managers who put pen to paper to write for us. And so in the article it says, farmers may, and I stress, may import duty-free vehicles and machinery to be used in agriculture. In the same article, once it's finished outlining who is eligible for the concession, it says, and this is for the hotel industry, it says companies which qualify for the tax holidays are allowed to import into St. Kitts and Nevis duty-free all equipment, machinery, spare parts, and raw materials used in production. And so this is why I was talking about the explicit nature of what is said here. Now, we've been tussling and wrestling with the Department of Agriculture for years concerning the concession, and we'll go to the responsibility of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, because the concession and the responsibility to be carried out by trade are two of the most damning policies that are against the farming community. And why I say that? Because in our cycle, most farmers are going to be granted 1 to 5 acres. Now, if you look at the income from a 1 to 5 acre farm, the policy from the government which matches that is that if you're eligible, you're only able to purchase one vehicle every 5 years. That vehicle has to be a 4x4 open pickup back. That could run you from $150,000 to $200,000. Now, if you're putting that kind of burden on a young farm and a young farmer from the inception of his farm, then you're setting him up to fail. And we've said that there are vehicle types in between that can be utilized by these same young farmers. They're not going to have the capital, and even some of them who were forced to purchase these vehicles. These are the same reason why the bank is saying farmers are not servicing the debt, because they are unable to do so. And so we are saying, why not give us the same policies that you gave to the hotel industry? We are here time and time again asking for our tractor parts to be duty-free. One of the report from one of the peers back then, he said that the Ministry of Finances, the reason why they're not giving us concession and tractor parts is because the government need revenue. Now, anything here, when the government says explicitly all equipment, machinery, spare parts, and raw materials used in production for the hotel industry are concession, and not only that, it says in the same article, it said pier 2. So they get the duty free, and at the pier, the port charges are waived. Now, does that indicate to you a government that is in need of revenue at any point? If you make the comparison to say to a small farmer, you cannot give him $2,000 off on duty and VAT for tractor spare parts, while this is offered to the hotel industry. And I want us to take into consideration, because if this is the invitation to come and do business here in St. Kitts, knowing our leaders, and I'm not talking about the present or past government, I'm talking about the institution. Mm-hmm. If they offer you everything as an invitation to do business here, imagine what you would get if you come here and further negotiate. Imagine the concessions that could be made or would be made for you if you come here and start business. And so again, when we ask our young farmers to join with us and to join the fight, this is what we are saying. Because we are saying, if we don't come together, we're not going to be taken seriously. And these policies are not going to change simply by one or two persons going around and advocating for change.
Found the sound. 99.9 FM.
People make the world go
And welcome back, and we go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Caller, good morning.
Mm-hmm. Yes, greetings.
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 Greetings, you hear me?
Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear, caller.
Okay. Thanks for taking my call. Okay, we want to stay on that policy. That is, wow. Concerning the farmers not getting the fullness that they ought to get when it is given to hoteliers or whoever. Such policies is the impressive to the farming industry, which is a vital industry within the scheme of things. And it ought to be changed forthwith. The system cannot continue to do things like that and keeping the farming industry in that dungeon within the scheme of things, when the farming industry need to be on a pinnacle within the scheme of things. And we all, farmers and non-farmers, should rally around the farming industry, the farmers, make sure that this is changed. It needs to change.
Caller, I want to ask you a question, right?
Yes.
You and I have been talking about the farming sector for quite some time now, since I've been in the hot seat. Let's say over the last 3-4 months, let's say for this year, have you seen any significant changes within the farming sector?
Thanks for that question. We are doing more talking than action. Needed action than anything else. And it cannot work. No, we have not seen that. And we are in a time when farming, agriculture, ground farming are vital, so vital within the scheme of things, because our health depends on that. It is not just about economics. It is about the health of our citizens, which are deteriorating by the day because of things people are consuming. That is not good for health. And if we put the farming industry on the pinnacle where it ought to be, it will take care of that. It will be a win-win. We'll be creating wealth in that form of money, and wealth that is in the form of health that is priceless. We have not seen that. We want to repeat the answer. We have not seen that, and it needs to be seen, not just talk, and a few is going ahead and getting by. No. It needs to be right across the board. And if we can do things like that for other industry, the hotel industry or any other industry, we can do it for the farming industry, for the right now, we reaching to a point where we getting vexed,
I understand.
Because we are seeing people's health deteriorating by the day.
But caller,
we are consuming, and we are seeing the farmers still lingering in the poverty.
Yeah, but caller, I just want to ask you. You mentioned something, our health, right? And I'll give you 30 seconds to respond to this question, and then you can call back in. But
no problem.
when you say our health, right, and then we criticize the government for not doing enough in the agriculture sector, isn't it a choice that Mr. Abel could either eat X or he can go to the farmers and purchase Y and consume Y? Don't you think it's like a choice factor that we are preferring to choose the unhealthy over the healthy, and that's what's leading to our health?
I heard you loud and clear. I'll answer the question this way. Yes, it is the choice of X, Y, Z to eat what they want. But when X, Y, Z have done so, eating what they want, and there's health issues, it comes down on the state. So therefore, the onus is also on the state to make sure that their citizens consume healthily, so that the health sector won't get that burden thereafter, consuming things that are not edible or good for the health. And
Yeah, so the caller was giving his perspective on, the audio that we played, the farmers, calling for similar concessions with as the hoteliers and so forth. This morning's program was actually, for the 2 hours, we were actually supposed to have the Media Association joining us to discuss media relations and the topic. But at this point in time, we're going to take a quick break and acknowledge our partners. And then when we come back, we'll go to the phone lines and hear more from you, the public.
Let TDC Financial Services help you go for your goals. Whether you're thinking of taking that grand vacation, down payment on a house, higher education, TDC Financial Services has various plans that will allow you to go for your goals. Choose from the Accumulator Plus, Investment Starter Plan, and Fixed Deposit. Ready to go for your goals? Visit us at TDC Financial Services, where money is made easy.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
round. And welcome back to Inside the News for today, November 4th it is. Yes, November 4th. I'm Jeremy Abel in the hot seat today. And, as I said before we took the break, we were supposed to be discussing media and media relations. Okay, we have a caller, and let's go to the phone line. Caller, good morning. We lost that caller. So, yes, we were supposed to be discussing media, and you guys were supposed to be grilling the representatives from the Media Association for the full time today, but they could not make it. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm well, and you?
Hello?
Yes, you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning, how are you, sir?
I'm well, and yourself, sir?
I'm doing great. Very good topic. Go to farming. I was hoping that we actually could get some more of those topics in on our shows, which should be more productive for us instead of Media Literacy Week and all that stuff there. Now, we are speaking about farming, and the first thing we have to look at, if tropical doesn't come here at any week, we would be running in trouble with fruits and vegetables. And it's not that we cannot produce enough in this country to sustain our country. Yes, our country are growing, and it's growing rapidly. But the farmers, I give kudos to those who are trying, like Mr. Clark. Armstrong has been there for a number of years, trying very hard. But our farmers need the input from our authorities, regardless of whichsoever authority. I don't want it to make it look political. Regardless of whatsoever organization control this country, whether it be PAM, Labour, PLP, Unity, or whosoever. Because one of our problems that our farmers have, they cannot compete with the market outside here. Although they have a little better quality, because looking at it right now, some of our foodstuff are getting contaminated, just like those that comes in from the foreign. Quick production, the chemical that they use to spray them. Some farmers even have one spray pan that they use for different chemical. And that is because the farmers themselves cannot afford. Because they are marginally making something. Now, I am one who always believes that farming, education, healthcare, they are what should take priority in the country. Now, our farmers deserve the same treatment that the hotels get, or even more.
But Carla, I want to interject there. I know you're making a point, but I want to interject. The concern, and I think it was explained at least when the minister was here a couple of months back, probably in September, August, that one of the challenges that they found is consistency, and that's one of the challenges impacting farming in St. Kitts and Nevis. That is why the 25 by 25 is critical. But my question to
what you said, if the main problem is?
I said one of the issues impacting farming in St. Kitts and Nevis is consistency, right? Consistency in terms of Mr. Abel being able to consistently produce 50 pounds of X, Y, and Z produce, right? That's just, I just wanted to lay that out there, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you though is, how do we get farmers to produce consistently and ensure that, one, even though they can produce consistently, that the prices, because you're saying health and agriculture go hand in hand, that the prices remain affordable to the ordinary man on the street?
I agree with you 100%, but the problem comes from the same ministers that are speaking. Let me tell you what happened. How can you expect farmers to be productive when you are not giving them the stepping stone that they need? A farmer should get a hotel. When a hotel bring in a vehicle, and I'm not certain if we pay the VAT, I don't think you could get away from the VAT, but they pay no duty. They pay the port. So why can't you say to the farmer, okay, pay the port, we're going to take off the duty, you're going to get it at cost price. You're going to get it at cost price. So it means that you'll be assisting the farmers with cost price, so then the overhead would not be able to be that high. In that same time, the farmers would be able to turn down the high cost and the consumers. Because if I bring in a 6-roller wire and they're going to charge me VAT, they're going to charge me duty, certain duty, whether 1%, 2%, or whatsoever they're going to cost me. I mean, I have to make that. So I am going to put it I'm going to filter it into my cost. So I am saying that if we adjust it and said to the farmers, look, here is that you're going to get your wire, you bring it in at cost price. What it costs, yes, you have to pay the port, but we as a government, we're going to remove the VAT, we're going to remove whatsoever duty come to us. It simply means that the farmer could expand more. One of the problems that the farmers have is wild animals, monkeys, and if they get help by getting the electrical fence, duty-free, where they pay nothing for it, and even the government could source it and sell it to them at cost price. We can afford that to encourage our farmers to continue producing for the country, because our health would be better when you produce food here. We would have more money turning into our economy, and you have a better, the older folks used to have the little gun and they go, yeah, Tanya, monkey were not so popular. They were there, but the monkey were not coming in their ground because they use a trap and catch them out. They use a dog to catch them, and they were their thing. They were their frequency. How could a farmer feel like he's going to produce 50 pounds of tomato when he produced 25 last time, and because he had to sell his tomato for $7 a pound to make back his money? He can't afford he can't do it. How could that happen? Because the first thing you want to look at, I'm losing. I can't make back my money from it, so why should I go into that crop and plant that crop? So we need to assist our farmers by giving them whatsoever we can give them, and they too in return must help somebody else. Because the farmers have a lot of production the school could get from it. I mean, everything that school mill use should be local product. Your carrots, your tomato, because you're encouraging farmers to grow them.
Okay.
That is what I believe in.
Oh, okay, caller.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a question. I'll give you 30 seconds to answer it because I have more callers ringing. But I want to get from you, if you could outline 3 things, because we're in the budget cycle right now, and the government is doing public consultations. If you could outline 3 things you expect that the government should include in the budget to assist the agriculture sector. 30 seconds.
I would include one with seeds. I would include one with fencing. I would include another one with equipment. And it shows that we are not serious about farming, because Antigua and Grilla, they came here and bought our tractors and our plow when our sugar industry closed. We had everything in this country to start farming when our sugar industry closed. We had all the plows, all the tractors, all the jeeps that used to have up the land. Do we have any today?
But Carla,
we try to sell one or two to a farmer. After farmers might have buy it. But if the government had keep those equipment and say, we are going to plow the land for you, we are going to make the land available to you so that you could plant food, don't you think that would have helped?
I understand.
I mean, I don't have a PhD, I don't have a doctorate, I don't even have common sense. But this is what I see that our farmers have been suffering. And I give kudos to those guys who are trying. The George Jeffrey, the Clark, the Armstrong, those guys are pioneers. But they are not rewarded because they are left to struggle on their own. So how is it that we're going to encourage young fellas to go into farming? How are we going to, farming is big out in the States. Farming is big in the country. We had the, let me don't say we had the land here. We had the equipment here. You know how many young fellas would have been glad to go into farming by giving them a start?
Okay. Carla, I give you 30 seconds. But I
finished. Thanks a lot. I finished.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, you give a reasonable response. You articulated your point very smooth. So I would say that you have common sense. I wouldn't agree with you making that assertion. But the point that you made, that we give away the tractors and stuff like that, and we don't have the interest in agriculture, I would not necessarily agree with that. I know it's your opinion, but that's a difficult one for me to agree with. Caller, good morning.
Greetings proudly, my brother.
Greetings.
Are we online?
Yes, you are live. Go ahead.
Okay. You know that sound about lack of consistency by farmers, a fraudulent sound? Yeah, it is a fraudulent sound. Farmers have been consistent, shows that, and people go around them. Use all kind of thing to go around us. So that is a fraudulent sound. And as the caller before me said, and call, please don't say I don't have common sense, you're full of it. Because my daddy, my father, God bless his soul, rest in peace, Gina. Couldn't read nor write, but common sense. No, you have common sense, my virgin. Yeah. Because we listen to everything what you say. And you have more than common sense, too. If the system rally around the farmers, and when we say the farmers, I mean all the farmers, not some. Yeah? Consistency will be I more. Yeah? And as I said before, that sound is a fraudulent sound. And it ought to be no more about farmers can't be consistent in producing whatever. We can. And farmers have been consistent and get boogie wagger by whoever. Yeah? So it's time that we put them sound there to rest and do what we ought to do and put the farming industry on the pinnacle where it ought to be. Enough said for that. Listen to this now. Recently we had a lot of rain and something coming here. We're getting a lot of fires too. And we want to really find out. We want to put it on the table. When they get a call for fire, we know what goes on by the hydrants. We know what kind of water they use. And perhaps that have to change too. When fire department get a call and say there's fire, what kind of water they have got store in the vehicles? And if it is the same water that people are consuming, something ought to put in place to change that. I feel like there should be a different collection of water, whether it is muddy water, brackish water, whatever, to out fire. We should not be using the same water that are there for the citizens' consumption to out fire. I hope whom it may concern. We made that observation and there was one then. So we hope that whom it may concern have taken note of what we are saying and the changes be made. Yeah? If we are using the same water that we are consuming, that we are having a problem with it, saying it's scarce and locking off and whatever, that fire water be some different, easy water. Put things in place to use seawater to out fire. Thanks for the time, my brother. Blessed love.
All right, thanks, caller. Yes, we're discussing the agriculture sector, and he segued into the topic of water and how we deal with the water situation in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I think that is something that has been impacting the farmers here in St. Kitts and Nevis for the longest while, and I think the discussions in terms of the agriculture sector and how we deal with that is critically important at this point in time. At this point in time, when we talk about the whole agriculture and the 25 by 25 and how we're going to fit all of this into next year's, and I think the budget, for example, is what we need to begin to discuss at this point in time. And I think farmers should utilize the whole public consultations by the government at this point in time in order to get these issues included and addressed. Yes, included and addressed for next year's budget cycle, because as we know, the Prime Minister and his team has been going around the island seeking an ear with the public to see what they believe is needed in terms of public consultations for what they need to be included in the budget cycle for next year, right? Water has been an issue, but the issue of agriculture and the food sustainability has long been a critical issue that we have been talking about for quite some time. And how do we get this addressed? I'm not sure there's a perfect fit. I think one of the things, and this is no excuse for either administrations, because this is a long-standing issue. I think everyone, we have to understand and balance the economics that we're talking about in terms of what's priority. Agriculture, as everyone would say, should be priority. But as we throw X amount of money behind agriculture, it means that we have to remove something out of the expenditure column, right? But that does not give any government or administration or any official the opportunity to say that we can't throw more behind agriculture. It's a balancing act that we have to balance, that we have to deal with at this point in time. And as the callers, I've been alluding to, agriculture and health, they go hand in hand, and I think the Prime Minister and the former Prime Minister and the former health ministers, they all would have alluded to that, that, St. Kitts and Nevis has one of the highest rates of non-communicable diseases in the Federation. I mean, I did an interview previously with the public relations officer of the St. Kitts Diabetes Association, Dr. O'Loughlin, and you would have probably heard it on WinFM's newscast sometime last month. And he also raised the topic of NCDs and the fact that kids are becoming borderline diabetic because of bad eating habits and bad health practices. And how do we get agriculture to step up to the plate to be able to curb some of the issues? Like I asked the caller previously, is it a choice? How do we get people to eat more locally grown produce? I know we have Eat Local. The agriculture department has its various subdivisions that are pushing more eating habits. But even though we step up to the plate, one of the big questions that come out of this whole discussion of agriculture is, how do we minimize waste? Because if we look at the statistics, and I don't have that with me, foods are lost during the reaping stage, but then a lot of it also remains with the vendors in terms of what's not being purchased. So how do we, get people to purchase more? And there's one, I asked someone a question recently in a regional report that I did. I asked a cooperative representative, and one of the things the person highlighted was we need to create and have more end products out of these produce so that before they actually spoil or reach that stage of spoiling, because you would definitely know that, let's say, plantain, for example, cannot necessarily last a full week. Then you could make plantain chips to sell, or you could make plantain flour, that sort of thing. And I don't think that a lot of us are looking along that line to create end products for us to sell. But at this point, we'll take a quick break, acknowledge our partners, and then we'll come right back and continue with Inside the News here on WinFM.
People make the world go.
50,000?
$50,000?
$50,000? Win big with TDC! Win up to $50,000 cash in the TDC Mega Rewards Mega Raffle! To enter, you must be a Mega Rewards member or sign up to TDC Mega Rewards Loyalty Program. Shop at our TDC retail stores or online at shoptdcgroup.com to receive one entry for every $250 spent. Draws take place from July to November. Win $10,000 every month with your entry rolled over so you can win, and win even more.
Yes, this is 50.
Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go
And welcome back. Welcome back to Inside the News. I'm Jeremy Nabel sitting in today. And our guest had some challenges today, so we are discussing the topic of farming. And, we heard a clip from one of the farmers from earlier this week, and they were calling for more concessions. And we go to the phone line. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, greetings forwardly. You raise it again by making sure that what you're consuming change for the better. Answer me. Yes or no? Just answer me now, yes or no.
You should. Yes.
Right. And shouldn't I, who say I love you and care about you, if you are not even, you able, are not even showing the interest in yourself, shouldn't I make sure that I pursue even more in making sure that my love and care for you is hey, brethren, listen to me. This is a serious thing we're dealing with, Politicians tell us, tell us all the time, the low poor people, Most of the people who are affected health-wise, are people in the lower income bracket, There's something named a class system. It's dictated by economics, by money. You have the upper class who can eat what they want. Even though some of them are junkhead same way in their habits. You have the middle class where we don't know what go on in the middle class. And you have the lower class who things. They're using their teeth to dig their graves. This is obvious. And if the love is there for the people and the care, what they say they have, implement it. Put policies, legislate. Policies, legislation. Policies, legislation for it to happen, for it to be shown. Show and tell.
But Carla, you mentioned something there, right? Put legislation in place, right? And yes. I agree with you that, whatever it is challenging us in the country, we need to put legislation in place to protect the people, right? But if we don't, as someone or as a country, that we expect the government to legislate, isn't the onus on us as people to push the government, spur the government into taking actions in terms of legislation to protect us, let's say, whether or not it be sugary beverages or anything of that sort, because we've been talking about the whole issue of diabetes, for example, for a number of years, and we keep hearing that children are coming down with diabetes, but we've not necessarily taken the steps just yet to have legislation be implemented to curb sugary beverages being imported and sold at a very cheap rate.
We note your question, we note your observation. You see, we are peculiar people within the global affairs. We are a people that was taken away from a continent, and we endure what is known as physical enslavement for hundreds of years. And not only did it have a terrible effect on us physically, our health, because eating habits that we have wrong in, it coming from them is is a thing from that time. But it do something to our mind that is called mental enslavement. Okay, we said that to say this. Up to the time, the people's mentality, politicians or people in administrative positions, etc., included, is set a real, them things being placed. A lot of that is just like becomes like an illusion, like a myth. So they just go along with most of the people just go along. And as I say, the people are divided in classes. So the going along, the upper class is cool. Yeah, they have nothing to say. The middle class, they do utter once now and again. Some of them utter once now and again, and ready to whatever. Some of them. The low class, instead of focusing on that collective vibration, what you just spoke about, and make sure that those in them that position do what they ought to do to make their sufferings be less until it is no more. They are more caught up in a kind of crab in barrel situation. Are you with me?
I'm with you, caller. 30 seconds as we begin to wrap up the first hour.
No, that's it. We won't even take another second. Blessed love.
All right, thanks.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, caller. Okay, so I just want to give some context in terms of the struggles of the agriculture sector in St. Kitts and Nevis. So, according to data from the Ministry of Agriculture, right? Yes, the agriculture sector has been struggling for quite some time, and it partly goes to consistency, right? On average, over the last couple of years, the farmers are losing out on more than $66 million US dollars or 180 million EC dollars in revenue annually. Right, that is because of shortages or spoilage in terms of revenue that's being lost. That revenue is partly through the large importation of food to St. Kitts and Nevis. St. Kitts and Nevis has a high dependency on imported foods. This is a course that has been sang for the last several years, and it was amplified during the pandemic when we see there was a run on the supermarkets for foods. This is still continuing. Last year, we imported $74 million US dollars worth of foods into the country. Right. For 2022, that figure jumped to 73. Okay. In 2021, the Agriculture Ministry imported US $60 million or $164 million worth of food of varying kinds, including live animals. In 2022, the figure jumped to $73 million US dollars or EC $197.6 million. This was evident during the COVID pandemic when lockdown measures saw citizens and residents flocking to supermarkets. Right. That is why we saw the need, as CARICOM said, to push this 25 by 25 agenda, which is us seeking to reduce the food import by 25%. If you take 25% out of $200 million, you probably roughly would get, let's say, an average. My calculation is not necessarily right, but that's roughly about $50 million going back to farmers in St. Kitts and Nevis. Yes, the government needs to invest a little bit more in terms of the agriculture sector. I know that they did indicate that under the 25 by 25 initiative, that's part of what they will be doing. And again, farmers are also complaining that, they're not necessarily seeing all of what they should be seeing in order to get the agriculture sector to the point that it should be at, which is critical for us to be sustainable, to be a sustainable island state and not be dependent on the boats that are coming into the island. On the flip side to that is, even though we want to depend on a lot of local foods, we've been told, and those in the media have been told, that the consistency in terms of what farms are putting out may not necessarily be there, and because that consistency is lacking, that is what is causing the problem for us to be importing more foods. I believe, because I don't necessarily know for certain, but I know that the government will seek to. I'm not the government's PR, but I'm hopeful, I should say, that the government will do more to enhance farm and farming and the farming community in St. Kitts and Nevis. As I said, we're planning the budget cycle right now, and this is why I hope farmers actually come out and lobby the government, especially through the ministry and the Department of Agriculture, to get some of what they need included within the budget for 2024. We have a way in St. Kitts and Nevis that we don't necessarily always speak up to get what we want, but we're hopeful that it will come, because whatever challenges that the farmers and farming community in St. Kitts and Nevis are facing in order to get what you want, or hopeful. You might not get all of what you want, but what you need, you may have some of them for next year. So this is the perfect opportunity before the budget is read next month to get everything, to meet with the officials, explain area concern, area grievances, so that those, some of them, at least part of them, can be addressed in the 2024 budget cycle. If you don't speak up now, a lot of what you want may not be included for 2024 in the 2024 budget cycle. But I have to leave it there for now. That's the first hour of Inside News. We have to break to take the midday news, and then we'll continue with the second hour of Inside the News here on Win FM. I was your host for the first hour, Jermaine Abel, sitting in today. So, yes, we'll be right back at around 12:30 or thereabout for the second hour of the program. Make the world go round.
Found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib. It's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
With the WINNFM Midday News, I am Kevon Brown. Our top stories. St. Kitts Nevis government presents a focus of 2024 budget, a push towards a sustainable island state. St. Kitts Consortium of Farmers continue to advocate for concessions for farmers and entrepreneurs. The International Court of Justice sets date for hearing on Venezuela's planned referendum. Internationally, aid not sufficient in Gaza. United Nations says it cannot keep up with humanitarian need. Now the details. The government has been conducting a series of consultations concerning the 2024 budget held under the theme Marching Forward on the Journey to a Sustainable Island State. The 2024 budget is geared towards progressing the mandate of making St. Kitts and Nevis a sustainable island state. Some real targets considered by the government to accomplish the goal includes economic stability to avoid the 10-year setback from climatic events, reduction of poverty across the Federation, the elimination of water shortages and mitigate drought impact, energy affordability and the elimination of fossil fuels, and the provision of sufficient, affordable, and resilient housing. Additionally, during the consultation on November 2nd, some benchmarks and targets communicated to the public included a 100% literacy rate for the Federation, 100% electric vehicles for the government and public transportation, less than 10% of the population below the poverty line, more than 70% of the energy being renewable, more than 60% of food being grown in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Federation becoming number one in the Caribbean as it relates to the ease of doing business, social and gender equity, and 3 years' worth of gross domestic product in reserves. The Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, spoke of the importance of including the public in the discussions for the 2024 budget and outlined some threats to the recovery of the country's economy, which include climate change and the reliance on the Citizenship by Investment program.
We want this type of community engagement at the grassroots level. So whatever comes out of the budget debate in 2023 for the budget in 2024 would reflect what the people on the ground, what the people in the communities, what the citizens are actually saying. And so we expect, as we go along into next year and the year after, God's willing, that we would have even more robust debate so that we can create the best scenario for our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The government, in my opinion, does not run the show. The people run the show. And therefore, the people must be given the opportunity to influence the budget as far as possible. Of course, you have the professionals within the government who would put what is gleaned to be important for the citizens in a framework that is workable so that we can have a system that, of course, that would not crash, but would eventually respond to your needs. So what is the main objective also of the budget? Is to create a sustainable island state. And I think that Ms. Henry pointed out how the National Development Plan links to the Sustainable Island State Plan and how both of them dovetail. It is very critical, and I want to bring the message to the communities that we face the existential threat. Big words to mean, boy, things rough with the climate change. You could get big hurricanes that could mash up the country, mash up your house, we can't recover. And all these nice plans that were spoken about that the budget we expect some growth and we expect to recover and so forth. All that can be thwarted or thrown off track if we were to get hit by a major hurricane which can wipe out percentages of our GDP and then put us back on a pathway to recovery. And even before we recover, we can be hit again by another category 5, and then that can take us downhill. And so as we look at the budget and we look at the prospects and they seem positive, there are serious threats out there. And climate change is one of them that is not going away right now. And that is why we have to develop a sustainable island state, that whatever we do is sustainable. Whatever we do deals with the issue of resilience, which means we can survive the shocks. And it means that we have to adapt. It is sad that we in these parts are affected most by climate change, and we contributed very little to the issue. And that is why we speak of climate justice. This thing is as big as colonization and all other injustices that affected people around the world that people fought for. The thing is, we don't have the same fight as we had on the road to independence and so forth when it comes to climate justice. But this is possibly the biggest issue of injustice that's affecting us today. You'll see wars and people fighting against people as people start fighting for resources. As climate changes and people move from one area to the next. If we are hit by 2 back-to-back category 5 and people walk out, my house destroyed, I can't build it back, no insurance taking me, I'm going to pack my bag and move to the US because I have a green card anyway. I'll move to Canada. And therefore, these are the real issues that I want us to start to consider as a citizens and for us to dialogue and discuss and sit down and see how we can earnestly come up with ideas and plans of how to deal with this serious threat. And that is why we want to develop a sustainable island state with the pillars and the plans that are here so that we can be in the best situation possible. The other threat we have is the CBI. And as you can see, a big part of it, because we are still in recovery, is the CBI. And I think Ms. Henry showed, is either Ms. Peets, Francis, yes, would have shown a graph, I think, a pie chart rather, showing the percentage or the slice of the CBI, which was a significant slice. And part of the plan has to be how can we cut that down? Not that we want to cut CBI revenues, but our dependency on it in terms of our current budget and supporting our social programs and so forth. That is a critical matter because, again, we cannot go from one major sector to depend on another major sector. It is supposed to be diversified. So you can have CBI, which is an important economic part of the economy. You can have tourism. You can have agriculture. You can have the creative economy. You can have multiple sectors within the framework of our overall economy contributing so that we are diversified, which puts us in a better position to resist shocks, whether it is natural disaster, man-made disaster, or any other type of disaster that can affect us.
The public consultations are completed, but the government is encouraging people to present their suggestions, comments, and concerns about the 2024 budget to the Ministry of Finance. Should the government put in place regulations that make hotels and offshore companies across the board source goods and services locally before looking regionally or internationally to help local small and medium businesses? That was the topic addressed during the November 1st broadcast of Farm Report on Wynn's Island Tea. A representative from the St. Kitts Consortium of Farmers suggested to the government that they should consider increasing the partnership between the hotel industry and the farming industry by having some mechanism in place to have the hotels tap into local businesses in St. Kitts and Nevis for goods and services before looking outside of the Federation.
A little store on 4th Street who hires 2 persons who have to pay utility and social security shouldn't be hassled by a customs to have to pay upfront duties and taxes. These are things that can be done to help this, and I'm saying the same things are done here. Why can't it be done for them to improve and to encourage local business personnel to continue in business? Why can't it be done for them?
The farmer compared the concessions made to the tourism sector versus the farming community.
When the government says explicitly all equipment, machinery, spare parts, and raw materials used in production for the hotel industry are concession, and not only that, it says in the same article, it said pier too. So they get the duty free, and at the pier, the port charges are waived. Now, does that indicate to you a government that is in need of revenue at any point? If you make the comparison to say to a small farmer, you cannot give him $2,000 off on duty and VAT for tractor spare parts, while this is offered to the hotel industry.
The St. Kitts Consortium of Farmers believes that more young farmers must join the cause and add their voices for a more significant impact as they continue to call for increased investments and concessions in the farming industry.
And I want us to take into consideration, because if this is the invitation to come and do business here in St. Kitts, knowing our leaders, and I'm not talking about the present or past government, I'm talking about the institution. If they offer you everything as an invitation to do business here, imagine what you would get if you come here and further negotiate. Imagine the concessions that could be made or would be made for you if you come here and start business. And so again, when we ask our young farmers to join with us and to join the fight, this is what we are saying. If we don't come together, we're not going to be taken seriously. And these policies are not going to change simply by one or two persons going around and advocating for change.
The St. Kitts Consortium of Farmers also urges the community of St. Kitts and Nevis to support local farmers and local businesses. In regional news, the International Court of Justice sets date for hearing on Venezuela's planned referendum. Guyana News Source has that story.
The International Court of Justice has announced that it will hold public hearings in the Guyana versus Venezuela case on the 14th of November to deal specifically with Guyana's request to block a number of questions in Venezuela's upcoming referendum on the border controversy. In a statement today, the ICJ explained that Guyana, in its request, said the government of Venezuela, through its National Electoral Council, has published a list of 5 questions that it intends to put before the people of Venezuela in a consultative referendum to take place on the 3rd of December. The ICJ said, according to the applicant, Guyana, the purpose of the referendum is to obtain responses that would support Venezuela's decision to abandon the current proceedings before the court and to resort instead to unilateral measures to resolve the controversy with Guyana by formally annexing and integrating into Venezuela all of the territory at issue in the proceedings, which comprises more than 2/3 of Guyana. The court said the hearings will take place at the Peace Palace in The Hague. Guyana has asked the ICJ to hear its application as a matter of urgency ahead of the planned December 3rd referendum. Guyana and a number of international organizations have rejected the planned Venezuelan referendum, which the government of Guyana believes could be used to annex Guyana's Essequibo region. Guyana decided to seek the provisional measures to block the questions in the referendum, since the matter on the border controversy remains before the International Court of Justice. In the initial stage of the substantive case before the ICJ, Venezuela questioned the court's jurisdiction to hear and determine the border matter. The court dismissed Venezuela's objection and has moved ahead with the case. The government of Guyana has said that it has no doubt of the validity of the arbitral award and the land boundary which Venezuela accepted and recognized as the international boundary for more than 60 years. Earlier this week, Prime Minister of Guyana Mark Phillips appeared before the Permanent Council of the Organization of American States to inform the OAS of the latest with Venezuela and the border controversy. He also raised the issue of the referendum and Guyana's move to the International Court of Justice.
We are therefore vigilant of the intentions and implications of the impending referendum. Venezuela could be seeking to establish the foundations for actions aimed at the annexation of 2/3 of Guyana's territory, although the matter of the resolution of the controversy is quite properly before the ICJ. Coupled with the decision to conduct this referendum, it is confirmed that Venezuela has significantly increased its military forces and equipment on its border with Guyana. While the position of the government of Venezuela, which was communicated to Guyana, is that the security forces have been mobilized on the border to curb illegal mining, there have also been reports of the Venezuelan military building a landing strip in a zone near to the Essequibo region. No explanation about the airstrip has been provided to the government of Guyana, but it is clear that it is the intention of that state to increase rhetoric on the controversy and drive fear in the Guyanese population.
Other members of the OAS also made clear their support of Guyana.
My government supports Guyana's sovereign right to develop its own natural resources. The United States finds efforts to infringe upon Guyana's sovereignty unacceptable. The United States supports a peaceful resolution to this issue, whether through the decision of an international judicial body or agreement of the parties. With this in mind, we call on Venezuela to respect international law, including the 1899 arbitral award, as well as the ongoing International Court of Justice process between Guyana and Venezuela.
CARICOM reaffirms that international law strictly prohibits the government of one state from unilaterally seizing, annexing, or incorporating territory of another state. An affirmative vote, as aforesaid, opens the door to the possible violation of this fundamental tenet of international law. It is to be emphasized that the land and water in question, the Essequibo region of Guyana, comprises more than 2/3 of the whole of Guyana itself. CARICOM notes that language of two questions approved to be posed in a referendum seeks an affirmation and implementation of Venezuela's stance on the issue by all means according to and within the law.
CARICOM, the OAS, and the Commonwealth have all come out in full support of Guyana and have effectively rejected the referendum and Venezuela's claims to Guyana's territory.
We now bring you these international reports.
More than 70 United Nations aid workers have been killed in Gaza since October 7th, when the current hostilities began. On Friday, here at the UN, Martin Griffiths, the top UN humanitarian official, became emotional when he began speaking about those losses.
One of the terrible things about those killings are that most of them have happened in the homes of those people, and they have been killed with their families. I think it's the highest number of UN staff lost in a conflict.
The United Nations is providing shelter for more than 650,000 displaced people in Gaza. But an official said that the bombardment by Israel has become so intense, even the United Nations cannot guarantee the safety of the people that need it the most.
We've had over 50 of our facilities that have been impacted by the conflict, including 5 direct hits. I think at last count, 38 people have died in our shelters. I fear that with the fighting going on in the north right now, that number is going to grow significantly. These are people seeking shelter under a UN flag, seeking protection under international humanitarian law.
The UN reports in the last 10 days, a total of 329 aid trucks have reached Gaza through the Rafah crossing. But officials say that's not nearly enough. Before October 7th, about 500 aid trucks got to Gaza every single day. Gabriel Zondo, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
Waiting and hoping for a glimpse of a face they haven't seen in weeks and feared they might never see again. On the other side of the crossing are some of the few Palestinians Israel allowed through its long-standing blockade of Gaza. Workers with permits to cross the fortified border and toil in low-paid jobs on the other side. Now, after weeks in Israeli prisons, they've returned into waiting arms, but with shocked accounts of their experiences.
We were workers, and I didn't know where to go. We stayed on the side of a road. The police picked us up and took us to prison. We were handcuffed on our legs, tied, and people were beaten. Thank God we're okay, but I don't know what was happening outside.
You are Hamas. You are Hamas. They would hang us, leave us for 4 days with no food and no water. They would torture us at night, strip us, accusing us of being Hamas.
A homecoming of relief and tears, but uncertainty too. Captivity is over, but Gaza's Palestinians are all prisoners of a different sort. Blockaded and bombed by Israel, it might be home, but home is an economically choked and dangerous place.
We went to Israel to work and feed our kids. As if we were killers, I felt like a criminal and I've done nothing.
The work was low paid, but it was still a vital lifeline for the 18,000 Gazans issued permits. Israel's blockade has hollowed out Gaza's economy, where the UN estimates unemployment is at about 45%. Now this scheme has gone too. Israel is severing all contact with Gaza, says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, except for the bombs falling on its homes and the Israeli troops on its streets. Rory Challens, Al Jazeera.
Thousands of black women allege hair relaxers gave them uterine cancer. And they're taking cosmetic heavyweights to court in the U.S. Sheila Bush is among them. The 69-year-old has relaxed her hair every 6 weeks for most of her life.
Growing up in the 60s, I went to a segregated school where they had the blacks on one side and the whites on the other. And so we would hear negative things about our hair because that was just the time. Race was a problem back then.
Bush was diagnosed with uterine cancer in her late 50s. Last winter, she started seeing ads pop up on TV and her social media feeds looking for women to file lawsuits against more than a dozen cosmetic companies, including L'Oreal and Revlon. The recruitment campaign launched shortly after a study had come out from the U.S. National Institutes of Health. It found an association, though not a causal link, between the frequent use of chemical hair relaxers and uterine cancer. The study looked at more than 33,000 women. Those who used the products more than 4 times in the previous year were more than twice as likely to develop uterine cancer compared to those who didn't use them. The main thrust of the lawsuits? Those companies sold harmful products and should have warned customers about the risks, but didn't. L'Oreal and Revlon told Reuters their products are subject to rigorous safety reviews. We do not believe the science supports a link between chemical hair straighteners or relaxers and cancer, Revlon said. The companies noted that the NIH study did not draw definitive conclusions and said more research is warranted.
Well, once I heard about the lawsuit, and there was a possibility that chemicals, relaxers could be related to different types of cancer. If that's the case, if we find out that that's the case, I would like to see that relaxers are taken completely off the market.
There are more than 7,000 similar lawsuits so far from all over the country. Plaintiffs' lawyers involved in the case say hair straighteners such as L'Oreal's Dark and Lovely and Revlon's Cream of Nature are marketed overwhelmingly to Black women.
Obviously, it is not lost on anyone that many of the women who use these chemical relaxers are women of color, African American women, Black women throughout America and the world.
Ben Crump filed the first hair relaxer lawsuit on behalf of a Missouri woman shortly after the NIH study was published. Crump is known for representing the family of George Floyd, the Black man murdered by a Minneapolis police officer in 2020. He says the potential risks should be seen as a civil rights issue.
They were told if you want your hair to be straight, if you want to look professional, if you want to fit in, you use a relaxer.
Some product liability experts interviewed by Reuters say the women who are suing multiple companies could face a hurdle when it comes to receipts. Without them, plaintiffs could struggle to prove they used specific products. As for the companies involved, they want the cases dismissed. In court filings, they've argued, if this is the first study to link the products to uterine cancer, how could they have known about the risks? L'Oreal added it is committed to offering the best hair products for all identities and cultures. Namaste, which markets ORS olive oil relaxers, said all ingredients in its products are approved for cosmetic use by U.S. regulators. We do not believe the plaintiffs have shown, or will be able to show, that the use of Namaste hair relaxer products caused the injuries that they allege in their complaints. A lawyer for Namaste and its parent company, Dabur India, said in an email response to Reuters. The other companies declined to comment or did not respond to requests.
You are listening to the Midday News on Win FM 98.9. The headlines: St. Kitts Nevis government presents a focus of 2024 budget, a push towards a sustainable island state. St. Kitts Consortium of Farmers continue to advocate for concessions for farmers and entrepreneurs. The International Court of Justice sets date for hearing on Venezuela's planned referendum. Internationally, aid not sufficient in Gaza. United Nations says it cannot keep up with humanitarian need. Thank you for listening.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International. By land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoyed the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king. Please drink responsibly.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
People make the world go
welcome back to Inside the News. I'm Jermaine Abel, sitting in today here on Inside the News for November the 4th, the first weekend in November. You know, the year is flying by very fast. We're almost to the end of 2023, and you know, it was a year full of developments. And you know, when we're in November, we start to talk about the budget and everything that comes with the budget. But before we continue with the discussions, I must acknowledge our partners, TDC and Carib Brewery. They make this program possible.
It's TDC for me, TDC for we, neighbor, partner, your family. The best is yet to come, believe me. Moving forward, moving with hey. TDC serve the nation with the best customer experience. TDC, you are the one for we. Happy anniversary. Together we succeed, building on strong community, pressing on forward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go round.
And we're back and we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon.
Greetings, Robert.
Greetings.
Thanks for taking your call. You said something before the news that we want to question on it. But before you say that, we're going to say this. I'm a farmer at heart. I grow, eat, share, sell. Good food. Now, I must know, as a farmer, what I need to put in place to increase that production and start other production and keep increasing other production. I must know. That is known by every farmer. Every farmer ought to know what they need to produce the way they ought to produce within the scheme of things. Yeah? Whatever it is, blah, blah, boom, boom. They're being itemized. It is known. It is no secret. Yeah? So, with that said, I would like to ask you concerning what you said about farmers should speak out in their interest concerning, you know, their production within the scheme of things with the upcoming budget. What you mean by farmers should speak out? Isn't that happening? What are you still online?
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you make your point before I
What
respond.
are you suggesting that farmers should do more? Because you said that farmers should speak out.
Okay, so
and that is
okay.
Yes.
So what I'm saying, right, caller, is this is the budget cycle, right?
Yes.
This is where and one of the clips when you come off the line, I'll play it. You know, the Prime Minister, you know, speaking about the budget consultations and so forth. But what I'm saying is, you guys are speaking out, yes, but my context to what I said is because we're in the budget cycle and the government, the cabinet, is going around the country speaking and listening to the public to get feedback in terms of what they would like to see included in the budget for 2024. I'm saying farmers should utilize that specifically as an opportunity to air some of their concerns and give the government ideas that they specifically would love to see included in the budget for 2024. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, farmers has been doing that. And one farmer even went to the point of saying that the budget for the agricultural industry ought to be up to 100 million. So that is out there. And I mean, we're in a small community in our region. Yeah, yeah. So I mean that is happening, and as we say before, the success of the industry is beneficial in many ways, more than one. Yeah, in ways more than one. I mean the benefits are we get it there. If we get it there as it ought to be. Yeah?
But
I mean, we said big up, I beg your pardon?
Carla, I think what the discussion surrounding, and not just this conversation, but the discussion surrounding the agriculture sector, for me, here in St. Kitts and Nevis, we keep going in circles, right? Farmers air their grievances. The government tries at some point to seek to address them, and this goes for all administrations. They try their best to address those concerns. But for me, again, and I probably would have echoed this earlier, is that we are not necessarily finding what the solution is or what the problem is to find the solution to the problem. Because now, if we give farmers concessions, farmers will hey, we got this, bam. Then another problem is going to pop up. Like, let's say being climate change, we're affected by climate change. Water situation, we give them black tanks, then the issue might move to something else. How do we, as a country, and governments seek to find what that particular issue is that will assist us in driving a larger market or a larger push in agriculture in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Listen, for success to be, everything have to be in place. Yeah? Not just the mindset, but everything else that can make that be accomplished. Okay. If we put what in place that we can put in place, and we are not seeing, let's say the state, the system put in place what farmers are asking for to put in place, and such things are not put in, and such things are put in place, and we are not seeing what we ought to see when things are put in place. Then that's a different kettle of fish or whatever. And I don't think that is going to be in terms of where we are right now with mindset, yeah? In terms of production. Farmers are talking about right now.
So Carla,
farmer, no, please, let me say, once you're a farmer, you are a farmer. No, make a point.
No, I was going to ask you a question, but when you finish.
Yeah. Once you're a farmer, and you're not into no games. So therefore, it's all about production because everything is fine. No, if there is, if the atmospheric vibration, nature in whatever movement it is, storm, whatever come, yeah? We deal with it when it comes. Collectively and get over it and keep moving on. I mean, what is it? I mean, we know what we need in place to make it happen. Let's try to put say big up to the Honorable Ralph Gonzalez and Benson for not connecting with the CBI thing. Because the CBI thing, even though it has its good bringing in the dollars, it has some kind of thing that is not pretty at all. And we are still dependent on the CBI money. So, it is, hey, what's here, man? We talk about the creative industry, which we are not embracing altogether, and we should, because it can bring in money too. Yeah, I see it in Jamaica, but we are not inclusive in what we are doing, and we seem to be putting politics and being partial in a lot of things down here, and it's not going to work. No, agriculture. Let's focus on agriculture.
Okay, but what I wanted to ask you, right, caller, is, and for you, you said you're into farming. What?
Yes, I'm a farmer.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute to respond to this, right? What would you specifically as a farmer, would want to see governments do, not this administration, but going forward? What would you want to see as a policy and a solution to a problem like this, right? That's one. And two, do you think that more farmers should be more business oriented in the sense that they should put themselves as small businesses to develop and provide a full livelihood for themselves?
Farmers should
be more business minded.
It's a business, and the business part of it. Even if a farmer is not versed with the business part of it, there's people there to fit into that. Nothing is lacking. It's all around us. And every farmer, I am sure, I want to be successful for his family first, and to other families that are working up in part of his team. Of course. And once the success is there, that will be happening. And that success will be extended to the country on the whole. Of course. I mean, if we start to, I made a suggestion as a farmer for us to monopolize on one product here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Monopolize and choose the product, whatever it is, yeah. Choose and we produce that. I'm talking about agriculture now, Wrong agriculture. We produce that in order, as a farmer, I am willing to sell my produce at my farm at even $1 a pound. Or whatever, parcel or whatever, I'm going to be reached by this selling food by pounding, Terrible. Yeah, I miss Jamaica for that, man. You're just getting by the parcel. Yeah, I'm talking about Jamaica. Easy money is big. When I'm willing to sell for $1 to $3 a pound. Say, let it reach to $3. Yeah? $3. I'm talking about a US dollar now. That is 150 Jamaica dollar. For a pound or something. Well, somebody will use that money in Jamaica, that same 150 Jamaica dollar, and buy all 4, 5, 6 pounds of the same thing. You see me? So, easy money is big, so farmers taking that into consideration, they'll be able to sell cheap once they produce how they want to produce, and abundantly, that we can even export to islands around and about us. We have some not waiting for food from us. Saber, my dear Jim down there in Godwin, God let me know, sir, that if we produce a certain weed eggplant, the market is there station waiting for nice euro money a pound. Yeah? So, I mean, why aren't we putting faith in the agricultural industry to be a money earner like any other damn industry? Eh? Sure.
Okay. All right, thanks, caller. Yeah, I guess the call is very emotional on this particular topic. But yes, we are going to hear a little excerpt from the Prime Minister surrounding Yes, from the Prime Minister surrounding the budget consultations. This excerpt came from the latest public consultation, budget consultation that was had, and then we'll continue with the discussion after.
We have started a new process here in St. Kitts and Nevis where we want the budget discussion not to be held just in government offices and in nice places like the Marriott, but to utilize the community center and to have community engagement, citizen engagement, on one of the most important aspects of the government's function that would affect their lives. As the gentleman said tonight, his small business is being affected by government policy, and he would like to see a difference to see if that can enhance his small business and other small businesses. And I note that we took his suggestion or his concern and it really would be looked at and see what can be done with respect to that. And that is the type of engagement that we need. This government does not purport to have all of the answers. And even if it does think that it has all of the answers, I think it needs to rethink that and engage you, the people in the communities, to get a greater sense of what is really affecting you and to have a budget that would respond to your realities. Because sometimes something look very nice on paper and this match that and match this, and you say, look, this is a textbook budget. And anybody would say, think it's Ministry of Finance and the ministers, they have done a good job. But then you come to Old Road and you walk across the road and a man sitting down on the corner tell you, boy, look, things tight over here because I can't get my shop off the ground. How is the budget going to respond to that? So that is why we want this type of community engagement at the grassroots level. So whatever comes out of the budget debate in 2023 for the budget in 2024 would reflect what the people on the ground, what the people in the communities, what the citizens are actually saying. And so we expect, as we go along into next year and the year after, God's willing, that we would have even more robust debate so that we can create the best scenario for our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. The government, in my opinion, does not run the show. The people run the show. And therefore, the people must be given the opportunity to influence the budget as far as possible. Of course, you have the professionals within the government who would put what is gleaned to be important for the citizens in a framework that is workable so that we can have a system that, of course, that would not crash, but would eventually respond to your needs. So what is the main objective also of the budget? Is to create a sustainable island state. And I think that Ms. Henry pointed out how the National Development Plan links to the Sustainable Island State Plan and how both of them dovetail. It is very critical, and I want to bring the message to the communities, that we face the existential threat. Big words to mean, boy, things rough with the climate change. You could get big hurricanes that could mash up the country, mash up your house, we can't recover. And all these nice plans that were spoken about that the budget we expect some growth and we expect to recover and so forth. All that can be thwarted or thrown off track if we were to get hit by a major hurricane which can wipe out percentages of our GDP and then put us back on a pathway to recovery. And even before we recover, we can be hit again by another category 5, and then that can take us downhill. And so as we look at the budget and we look at the prospects and they seem positive, there are serious threats out there. And climate change is one of them that is not going away right now. And that is why we have to develop a sustainable island state, that whatever we do is sustainable. Whatever we do deals with the issue of resilience, which means we can survive the shocks. And it means that we have to adapt. It is sad that we in these parts are affected most by climate change, and we contributed very little to the issue. And that is why we speak of climate justice. This thing is as big as colonization and all other injustices that affected people around the world that people fought for. The thing is, we don't have the same fight as we had on the road to independence and so forth when it comes to climate justice. But this is possibly the biggest issue of injustice that's affecting us today. You'll see wars and people fighting against people as people start fighting for resources. at climate changes and people move from one area to the next. If we are hit by 2 back-to-back category 5 and people walk out, my house destroyed, I can't build it back, no insurance taking me, I'm going to pack my bag and move to the US because I have a green card anyway. I'll move to Canada. And therefore, these are the real issues that I want us to start to consider as a citizens, and for us to dialogue and discuss and sit down and see how we can earnestly come up with ideas and plans of how to deal with this serious threat. And that is why we want to develop a sustainable island state with the pillars and the plans that are here so that we can be in the best situation possible. The other threat we have is the CBI. And as you can see, a big part of it, because we are still in recovery, is the CBI. And I think Ms. Henry showed, is either Ms. Peets, Francis, yes, would have shown a graph, I think, a pie chart rather, showing the percentage or the slice of the CBI, which was a significant slice. And part of the plan has to be how can we cut that down? Not that we want to cut CBI revenues, but our dependency on it in terms of our current budget and supporting our social programs and so forth. That is a critical matter because, again, we cannot go from one major sector to depend on another major sector. It is supposed to be diversified. So you can have CBI, which is an important economic part of the economy. You can have tourism. You can have agriculture. You can have the creative economy. You can have multiple sectors within the framework of our overall economy contributing so that we are diversified, which puts us in a better position to resist shocks, whether it is natural disaster, man-made disaster, or any other type of disaster that can affect us. So these are the kind of ways we want to think and to stimulate our thoughts as we build out the best scenario for St. Kitts and Nevis to continue to grow. So I'll finally wrap up by saying that we do appreciate your coming out. We do appreciate the fact that there were those who would have joined us online as we bring the budget debate, or the budget discussion rather, conversation to you, the people, who would be affected directly by this law that will be passed in December to determine how the government is going to really manage its resources in 2024.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
So who you left the kids with tonight?
Nobody. They're big enough to take care of themselves.
Girl, you're mad. Junior only 7 years old. And suppose something happened to the baby while you're out here?
My mother was leaving me home by myself since I'm 5. He can handle it. Nothing gonna happen.
This don't feel right. Call and check on them.
Look, I work hard all week. I deserve this break. Besides, they're good. Hello?
Leaving underage children at home by themselves is child neglect. Need support? See if another family member or a trusted neighbor can help. This message brought to you by UNICEF, UKAID, Crime Stoppers, and this station.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
People make the world go round.
welcome back. Welcome back to Inside the News. Yeah, today we're just discussing a bit of agriculture, some of the challenges that the farmers are facing, and what they expect and or they're hopeful of receiving from the government. They said they want similar concessions, duty free, and so forth, in terms of something similar to what the hotels are receiving. Right. Today's program was supposed to be focusing on media, on literacy, and all that. But as journalists, they get pulled away in these directions, in different directions. So we are supposed to be joined by the representatives from the Media Association of St. Kitts and Nevis. But things change, plans change. So we have an open forum, and we just heard from Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew talking about the idea of moving around the island with the budget consultations to get an idea and a feel from the public in terms of exactly what it is that they're hopeful of receiving feedback from the public receiving feedback from the public on their expectations for the 2024 budget, which will be read sometime next month. As usual, it's normally done prior to Christmas. So we'll await that, but it would be good to go and share your ideas, thoughts, and expectations for the budget. We go back to the phone line. Caller, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to the listening public home and abroad. Carl Brown here. Well, I am looking forward to attending the budget session. I will probably reach to about 3 or 4 maybe, if they have so much. They had one already. My thing in the budget coming up that I would like to suggest to them is that I hope that agriculture would be putting forth $100 million into agriculture this year budget if we want to do food security and if we want to complete the 25-25. And the farmers, them need a lot of assistance from the CVI. I would be suggesting that along with the government little support that they give to farmers, that the CVI come through heavily this new year coming up and really put some serious finance into the farmers, because the farmers, they need a lot of things. They need fencing, they need tractors, they need mowers, they need seed, continuous seeds, they need continuous chemicals and that sort of thing. They need finance in the hand where they could order their own product, because when they're waiting on agriculture, when they come, agriculture is telling the farmers them you only could get this amount. And then certain farmers that get large amounts. So the farmers, I hope this, I will be suggesting this, that in the upcoming budget, that the government put $100 million seriously into farming and let us move farming heavily forward. Because you see all those wars breaking out, and you see we just come out of a pandemic. We don't know what to come next year. We got to think seriously about serious farming and self-sustainable in farming. That when anything happens and the ships them that we so depend on stop coming like how they did in the COVID. That we have something good to turn to, and we also could bring in finance from overseas. We not only feed ourselves, but we are able to export to sustain our economy and to sustain agriculture, continue going till whatever pandemic or whatever situation that develop. Because it seems like we are heading for World War III, yeah?
Okay, I got a question for you.
Breaking out, and people better look at that seriously and get seriously into self-sustainable farming, because when those tourist ships stop coming, the food ships, them will stop coming too.
Yeah, I have a question for you, though, Caller.
If you don't have a strong agricultural economy, your people are going to starve.
Caller. I have a question for
Yes.
you. How do we get people to understand what you just said? Because it seems as though a lot of us, and this is what one of the callers was alluding to earlier, that we still have this dependency on eating imported foods, not necessarily the greens as we would say, but a lot of those canned stuff that's leading to us being one of those countries with high NCD rates. How do we get the public to better understand that they have to eat more locally produced foods?
We, the doctors, the medical fraternity, have to stop come one-on-one. They have to come in a group and programs and bring a lot of those overseas stuff that are causing the large significant growth of cancer and killing our people in the Federation, and show them the different tests that all these things full of cancer and is what is killing us out. And we must eat our locally homegrown, because we know what we put there. We don't know what's in them can and them things and them bottles. Right? And that's what they got to start to do along with the agricultural people. They have to come in strong groups. They have to have town hall meetings. They have to have screen and show the public, this is what does happen to you when you eat these things. This is how they make them. That is how we have to do it. And then you have to put the local thing. And I said to people all the time, take a local sweet pepper or tomato and put it on your dining room table. Take a overseas sweet pepper or tomato or any of those things that come from overseas and put it on your table, right? And watch 3 days, you see what happens. The foreign thing melt right down to water and start to rotten. The local thing standing up hard still. The local sweet pepper, the local tomato standing up, all it do is just getting a little ripe. Right? People don't understand what's going on with these things, and that's how we got to push it. So to let people understand that these things are not good for you yet. They are imported, but they are not good for you. They kill you slowly inside. And we have to push and show that local is the way to go. And we have to start shopping too. There is bush out there for every sickness and every disease and virus that come across here. And we lawn them down, we chop them down, we let goats and sheep and other animals eat them. The medical doctors, they're not going to tell you that because the pharmaceutical things are not going to be sold.
Okay.
These are the things we got to show the people. Everything we want and to sustain us and help us live long and keep away all these cancers and all these blood clots and all these other things that we get. Right? Bush right in your yard for them. Right outside your gate for them.
Okay, just quickly before you go, caller, I just want to get from you, now that we're in the budget cycle, what are 3 things that you want to see be included in the budget for next year? Just quickly.
Well, that one, agriculture, and the other one, I would like to see that the government and the CVI get real serious and put some real serious money into small business and small entrepreneur. Not them little $5,000 them again. Them insult they give people in the face. Right? Because $5,000 can't even clear your goods them up the port. Right? Serious money into small business. Push small business, which going to be the backbone and the brain and the spinal cord of the large business them, and which will be the backbone, the brain and the spinal cord of your economy. Without those small business and small entrepreneur, you could forget about growth in the economy, and you could forget about having anything going over your budget, making any money over what you budgeted last December for. If you don't push those small businesses, forget about it. The other thing I would like to see is that in the budget, sports. Yeah, they say they put a lot of money into sports, but you realize when last you hear about volleyball, When last you hear they just start to bring back school cricket. What about the Saturday cricket and football with the schools them used to have? Netball gone to thing. We can't even send a team to represent us nowhere now. All kind of netball taking place all over the world. We ain't got a team out there. So I would like to see that they really put some serious money, some serious training into sports, and a lot of sports is down. When last you hear about the Taekwondo them. When last I suggest to them, they ask about ideas for things. I suggest to them, let us start getting into beach football. It's a big thing in the Olympics. It's all over the place. All those games around the world, they is there. Beach football, beach volleyball, right? We need some serious sporting. We need to get back into biking like what used to happen in the park with culture and them. Right? Mm-hmm. These are things we need to get some serious swimmers, not just the Special Olympics. Them we need to get people into swimming to start taking part in competition and gymnastics and them things. This is what I want to see in the upcoming budget. That we put some serious money, some serious training, some serious seminars and things into sports, and we push sports forward and not sending out 3 and 4 people in a team with more coach and what team members taking part in the competition them. That we send out a full team of 20-something and 30-something to take part in different sports. You ain't see when we go out, they go represent a couple little sports. The most we got is running and then maybe a little javelin, no bike riding, no shooting, right? No gymnastics. No beach volleyball, no beach football, nothing. We ain't got nothing. We just sending 2 little thing out there and thinking that we're doing something. So we really like to see some serious money go into sports, and we add lots of other sporting things. Baseball is a big thing. We got all the Spanish them here playing all the baseball at Sunday time and going all kind of competition, bringing in teams. Why don't we get the Spanish them to teach us baseball? Start it in the school and start it in the adults and get some teams and start taking on some neighboring teams from around the Caribbean and things. These are things here, baseball right here, and we ain't the Spanish them to teach us. Only the Spanish the one them a play it. I'm gone, so.
All right, thanks, caller. Well, he outlined his 3 areas that he would he would love to see included in the budget: more money for sports, agriculture, and small businesses. Yes. So we go back to the phone line and hear from this caller. Caller, good afternoon. Please turn on your radio. Please turn on your radio, caller.
Yes, I do. Yes, good afternoon. I'm so agree with Carl. 500%. 500%. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, we need a lot of things because I believe that's why the young guys know. Getting slacking and turning their head another way, thinking the wrong thing.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you like to see? What would you like to see included in the budget as the government moves around the territory? 3 points that you would love to see included.
Well, to tell you the truth, as Carl to big up the agriculture because the tractor, people always complain about this tractor storage. No, since I was telling it and I stopped telling it since 2014. They said this week, man, somebody want to do farming. They said, tractor break down and this break down. We're supposed to have more tractor than that. Because they say you must help yourself as a farmer. So we need more for nobody too much of trying or sometimes, they'll vary your hand and stuff. But, we ain't getting that. We need that there badly. The monkey thing again, I don't know, we need to keep off that there badly too. Tell the people them go up in the hills, go shoot, not in town and so. They need to think about that deal. Bring it down, tell somebody, do it up, give dog. We could make a thing out of that, Do it up and make dog meat, dog food and so. We cook a little rice with it, corn with it, and you give them. Yeah, save this big overseas bagger thing when they come here. Yeah, and my observation, I wanted to see more and more. And my observation, the school. What happened to the school? To me, I was saying the Aquafall here, but what about we have a space and you drive up, you just drive up Victoria Road anytime during after 8, 9, 10 in the morning. Up there and park up. We're looking now at a different site, 4 sites. Building it over there, I don't think it's wrong because what happened now, they want parking space when people come for the children. They had to, when I said come and drop, hurry to go. There's someone there, you just go park in and call your child on the phone and what's not, right? And that's it. I don't know. I heard somebody say, they come to the grapevine, say they want to go, somebody take a spot up, they go want to go build a tree flight, right? Storage supply. I don't know how true it is, like a hotel going there. Because tree flight is like a hotel, but if it's just a normal person, well, the school could go there. People want technology, they want things in the school. But they could go here, go there, quick finger, bam, bam, bam. Not walking into maybe with these tablets around and around and around. So what happened in the budget? I want them put in the budget that they must pay the people them the little salary. So him the money come, he done, it done the 360 too small right now.
So you're saying
I don't know, raise
so Carla, you're saying that
man.
they should increase minimum wage then?
Yes, it's too long overdue now. You're just going to talk about what? Long time, then you're going to talk. They say next week they're going to do it, and they do it. I don't know, there's a long process about what, right? And they need to think. Some people say they don't want the school move because they ain't seen a problem, but I don't know. If it's how the septic tank is a problem, well, you have to move. They say the rest of the place up there. How that would bother me if I live above it? It's not bothering me, just bothering the school alone. I mean, I heard the lady name out a lot of things yesterday. I was so amazed. I didn't know some people get sick, children get sick. One gentleman say he used to tell his daughter, you ain't want to go there, what? You get fed up with there? But not knowing is the rush the child getting and the child can't take it no more. Right? And then after he heard it more, hearing it more and more, now he know that the school have a problem.
Okay,
you know what happened?
Caller, 30 seconds. We have more calls and I have a break to take.
To do the work, and we need clean work. When election time, we don't really go and make this good, And we need to get things done. Not promising. The budget with the salary should have done past long time and done. People don't get any money there. Time that reaching people and ain't enough, we gone. Okay.
All right, thanks, caller. We'll take one more caller before we take the break. Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The budget consultations, those are good. It's good that it's expanded into the communities from the traditional Chamber of Industry and Commerce and those sorts of entities. Unfortunately, judging from the attendance of the two so far, they have not taken hold as yet, right? And people are more inclined to ask the authorities about their community issues, their needs, community needs, or individual needs, rather than looking at the bigger picture, that is the country's economy, or how it is intended to function and so on. Okay, judging from the questions that are asked after, okay, and the input of most of people who are present. Okay, but we'll see how they go as they progress. Hopefully more people participate in them. One of the things I'd like to see, though, is that the budget really reflects the policy priorities in terms of the allocations. I mean, traditionally, we have huge amounts allocated to education and social stuff, national security and the office of the Prime Minister, those kinds of things. And I think that needs to change if we're going to be using the buzzwords of resiliency and climate change and those things and sustainability. Then the budget should really reflect that, okay? And judging from the recent past, it hasn't really done so, okay? Those things that soak up a lot of the budget they're not directly tied to productivity and diversification and economic growth. You know, they're more likely to soak up funds from other areas of the economy. I'm talking, for instance, of things like, let's say, New Basti High School, Smart Hospital. Those are needed, yes. The housing, all those things are needed, but they don't contribute directly to making the pie bigger, so to speak. As good a projects as they might be, okay, we need to grow that pie. And how do we do that? I think they need to go out there and aggressively attract more foreign direct investment, right? Pursue investments, pursue the kinds of investment that would really diversify our economy. You know, even as we enhance the existing pillars, because we can't, I mean, we know what works. So obviously, our CBI, our tourism plant as is, we've had a good manufacturing base in the past that has now deteriorated quite a bit. We know those things work, so we should not ignore them. We should try to enhance them, but we need definitely to look at, take a fresh look at the new ways of diversifying our economy. And I'm not talking about just the cannabis and the orange economy, because those are really fledgling. They have not been really tried and tested. Okay? So best we go concentrating on what works currently, even as we venture out into those other areas that, you know, maybe on the horizon, so to speak. Okay? One other thing I'd also like to see in the consultations, I think we need more ideas from those we elect. After all, they ask for the job. They're filled with a number of experts in their various fields. They should have some ideas of their own. Sure, they can come to us, right, and get some more. But they should also have ideas of their own and be able to articulate them and show how they would impact on us and the country. Okay? So the consultation should be a kind of explanation, not just a matter of asking our ideas, but explaining their points of view, their policies, what they hope to gain from those policies, and massage them with us so that, you know, we can get an idea of how they're thinking, what we can expect, you know, those sorts of things. Right? It really should not be a one-way type communication. You know, it should be both ways. But that communication to us should be in a way that we can understand. I'm not sure that how they've done this in terms of the number of speakers that they have and the technicalities that they get into, that they're really listening, looking at the audience that they're speaking to, right? And I don't think, too, that those presentations, those initial presentations, should overshadow the questions and comments of people in the audience, right? It's just, and I mean, this applies to a lot of other stuff as well. Traditionally you might have
call it 30
conference.
seconds. Call it 30 seconds to wrap.
A conference, a press conference, for instance. Yeah, a press conference, and most of it is really a statement. A lot of more input should be there from the audience. That's the main thing. That should be the bulk of these consultations. Okay then.
All right, thanks, caller. Well, we'll take a quick break as we come to the end of Inside the News for today. And I'll come back and wrap up on the other side of the break.
50,000?
$50,000? Win big with TDC. Win up to $50,000 cash in the TDC Mega Rewards Mega Raffle. To enter, you must be a Mega Rewards member or sign up to TDC Mega Rewards Loyalty Program. Shop at our TDC retail stores or online at shoptdcgroup.com to receive one entry for every $250 spent. Draws take place from July to November. Win $10,000 every month with your entry rolled over so you can win even more.
Yes, this is 50.
Terms and conditions apply.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
And welcome back. So we've come to the end of Inside the News for today. I'm German Abel saying thanking you guys for joining us as we come to the end of the program. It's good to be back with you after a little break. But we were just discussing the agriculture sector, and then we jumped in to take a look quickly at the budget process, the consultation that's ongoing. And I know a lot of people focused on the agriculture sector and saying that we should increase the allocations for agriculture in the budget for 2024. But the government is actually engaging the public, so I will urge everyone to go out and continue to focus and give them your feedback and recommendations of what you guys hope to see be included in the 2024 budget. But I've come to the end of the program for today. I'm German Abel saying thanks for joining us, and do enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of the programming here on Win FM. Until next time, it's goodbye.
Go.